Let's freaking go! It is PHL Live on a glorious Sunday night. I am sorry for the delay. We are still under a tornado watch. And as many of you know, throughout Louisiana, there has been power outages. So when we were getting ready to start, the power was flickering on and off. And then they said there was a tornado and so on and so on and so on. So we pushed it back, and I just want to share at the beginning of this, if I just have to immediately end this thing, it is because, well, that's happening right now. So welcome in on a Sunday night. Obviously, a lot to get to this glorious evening. So what is very interesting, and look, my wife is going to keep me up to date on the weather. So we should be good to go. I don't think there'll be any stoppages, but just in case if there is, my apologies. Now, I want to start with the Bryce Underwood story. So LSU welcomed in Bryce Underwood this past weekend for yet another visit. And this was a very good visit where they actually moved the camp to Tiger Stadium. So they were practicing at the LSU facility, and then Brian Kelly said, look, let's go to the big wigs. Let's go to the big stage. And they moved everything to Tiger Stadium. So the recruits that were taking part in the 7-on-7 and the camp this past weekend, they were able to actually experience what it's like to step foot in Death Valley. And look, I know there was no fans there and nobody's really paying attention to recruiting as LSU baseball is going on right now. But I thought that was pretty good in LSU's chances of landing the 5-star 2025 quarterback. Okay, so once again, he wouldn't be a part of this recruiting class. He would be a part of the next recruiting class. So the likelihood that Bryce Underwood picks LSU is good, right? Especially for an out-of-state 5-star. Now, Michigan is probably the leader here for his services because he is a 5-star quarterback in Michigan, but he's really good. The tape is really good, and that's all there is to it. So LSU might be entering a very golden age of recruiting quarterbacks because obviously Garrett Nussmeier was a top 100 guy. Walker Howard was a top 100 guy. Ricky Collins was a 4-star. And I think after this past weekend, Colin Hurly, the 2024 4-star quarterback, will get a recruiting bump as he was an Elite 11 quarterback. So the Elite 11 camp happened this past weekend, and that is a national camp where the finals are held in California. So they have 20 finalists, and the goal is to finish in the top 12. So Colin Hurly finished in the top 12. Julian Sayin, who was a 5-star quarterback who ended up committing to Alabama, ended up being the MVP of the camp. But Colin Hurly consistently put himself in the position to be an Elite 11 quarterback. So what this means for LSU is something very simple. There are no elite quarterbacks in the state of Louisiana. So for LSU to get a quarterback in the class of 2025, they got to go out of state anyway. They're obviously going to work out more than just the elite George McIntyres and Bryce Underwoods in 2025. But LSU looks to be in pretty good shape to get somebody pretty daggum good for 2025. So obviously that's the most important position. Now, wasn't the only recruiting that went on this past weekend, but obviously we always focus at first on the most important position, which of course is quarterback. Now, the next thing is there any other recruiting news that we need to discuss before we move on to some other topics? Okay. Yes, there will be, and I won't talk too much about him tonight. I might not talk about him at all because I don't know how long we're going to have with the weather being the way that it is in my area right now. But there will likely be an LSU commitment tomorrow. Okay. Now, I kind of don't want to say a name because I don't know how out there it is, but LSU is going to get, and I won't say the position. I almost did. But let's just say they're going to get a commitment at a position that is always good to get a commitment, right? It's a pretty premium position in the modern day college football. So be on the lookout for that. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, I think it's going to happen soon, but it's going to take a lot for it to not happen tomorrow. So really excited about that, and we'll see how everything else shapes itself out. We say hi to Jared A. He says, I'll be 50 in 2025. That's way off into the future. What's up, Christian? Good to see you. TOV, good to see you. LA Mom said she almost fell asleep because of the weather delay. I'm so sorry. Part of my what's up, Jordan? Good to see you. Part of the reason why I did a weather delay tonight isn't because we almost got blown away by a tornado. It is also because that's what college baseball has essentially been over the past few months, just a bunch of weather delays. So it's in honor of our next topic. Okay. I normally wait to get into, the baseball stuff a little bit later, but obviously when LSU baseball is on the brink of doing something pretty special, as with any other sport, we'll talk about it, right? Paul Skenes. You might not ever see him again at LSU. It depends how far LSU makes it in the College World Series. I think you will see him in the College World Series championship round. LSU's playing, I think, the best baseball out of anybody right now. Obviously, Florida looks really good, as much as that irks me to say. And more importantly, the LSU fans are the true MVPs when it comes to Jello shots, apparently. So that's obviously really awesome. I could use a Jello shot. It's been a very stressful evening. But Paul Skenes is up there with one of the best LSU athletes I've ever seen. And it is truly remarkable what this guy has accomplished. And, he is kind of putting himself up there with, the Joe Burrows, Angel Reese's, the Shaqs when it comes to dominance at the highest level. This guy has pitched perfectly. In the postseason, and it is truly special to watch. And I know Tennessee mudslaying quite a bit today with some very reckless things said in his direction that obviously hurts my feelings, hurts everybody's feelings, but it is what it is. All I know is I'm glad he's on my team, and I am glad that we are getting to witness what we have witnessed. Now, obviously, moving forward, we'll see how LSU's pitching does when Skenes isn't on the hill. That is obviously, just a story of the College World Series. It is the single biggest story in College World Series baseball right now because Paul Skenes is so much better than every single pitcher at the tournament. And honestly, he might be the best player in the whole tournament as well. But what's behind Paul Skenes, we'll see. Obviously, Ty Floyd, Thatcher Hurd, Cooper, the whole crew, they're going to have to step up and get it done versus Wake Forest tomorrow night. So we'll get back into football now, but I had to share that what we are seeing from Paul Skenes is otherworldly, and it even transcends LSU. It transcends college baseball. We have truly gotten to witness something absolutely crazy. If any of you know anything about pitching, to have that many pitches north of 100 miles per hour, and now there are rumors that this guy is not even going to go to the minor leagues. He's going to go straight to the freaking big leagues, which is crazy. But he's that good. I mean, Marcus Stroman, the arguably the best pitcher in baseball, professional baseball, tweeted out that this dude is unfair. If you go to Power Hour LSU on Twitter, you'll see it for yourself. It's scary, honestly. It's like, is this guy like Randy Johnson? I mean, are we? I mean, he's got the potential to join. I mean, he's already reached the Burrow, Shaq, Angel Reese, Simone Augustus tier of like just all-time great LSU college athletes. And I know it's only been a year, but now you begin to speculate, is he going to be a Cooperstown pitcher? Because like the people that know way more about baseball than me are saying that this guy doesn't need minor league baseball, and he has Cy Young type of material. And you guys know pitchers. There's a lot of luck involved in getting to that next level. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I know enough about the MLB to know if like his stuff is really good enough right now. But many people are saying that. So obviously Dylan Cruz is great. Tommy Tanks is great. Trey Morgan's play at first base is definitely one of the best plays I've seen from an LSU fielder in a College World Series. Yeah, I mean, this is truly great stuff. Truly great stuff. And I had to shout out Paul Skenes. I mean, that was just crazy. Like, I don't know how you guys felt watching that. That was chilling. Like, that was just so freaking chilling to see that. I was like, this guy is on my team. And we've been spoiled. We've had freaking Alexis Morris and Justin Jefferson and all these legendary LSU athletes just in the past 5 years. And now you get this guy, like throwing that many pitches over 100. That is, it doesn't, it's stupid. And Blake shared that in our College World Series preview a few nights ago. That was the first thing he basically said. He said, "Hey, just enjoy this because you're just not going to see it. It is crazy." As Pegasus points out, that is just crazy, man. The throwing 102 in like the 6th and 7th inning. Does he get tired? I don't get tired. I paused the game of the century part 1, thinking of putting part 2 because I love it. Well, you should. I don't know how to say that last word. There you go. Michael Turner, the wide receiver out of the 504, gets an offer. Very interesting. I haven't watched a whole lot of him. I've seen like his huddle tape, and he's obviously smooth, right? John Curtis, that is where I believe Malachi Dupree went. So yeah, BT, I know you're a 504 sharp when it comes to high school football. But yeah, that would obviously be very interesting if he commits. I do think though, LSU is still in the market to get some of these higher end wide receivers in this next cycle. So there you go. We say hi to William in North Carolina. Good to see you. And we did a Chad Jones video earlier today, William. I know you've probably already seen it, but pretty crazy Chad Jones video we dropped. And I just want to share this with you guys, PHL Nation. I'm going to be experimenting with different kinds of content over the next couple of weeks. Okay. We are going to post a lot of shorts. And I don't know if you guys like the shorts. I know some of you just like the live streams. I know some of you just like the hour-plus long film studies. I remember getting an angry email from someone saying, "Hey, all I want are the 2-hour-long game film breakdowns of it when we only get 13 games a year." But yeah, I know we do a lot of different things here, but shorts get a lot of views. So I'm going to post a lot of shorts over the next couple of weeks, and we'll see if you like them. We'll see if you don't. It's edited a little bit differently than some of our longer form videos. So let me know what you guys think. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But yeah. Now, this is a question I've gotten a lot when I posted the title of the video earlier today. And I say a lot. I got it from one of you guys. So shout out to Mike. He doesn't always comment, but there you go. Is Bryce Underwood legit? What's up, Jason? Good to see you. Yes, he's really good. He's very, very good. Obviously, you know, if LSU landed him, that would be pretty freaking incredible if they were to get the number 1 quarterback in the country, right? It's been a while since that's happened. Since Russell Shepard, which is kind of crazy to think about. That was the last time LSU got the number one quarterback in the country. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. But obviously, when you're a 5-star at that position, you get to choose what you want to do. And look, what's very interesting about quarterbacks is you honestly have to commit a little bit earlier. Now, sometimes it doesn't matter. So, for instance, we were talking about Colin Hurly in the Elite 11 earlier. Georgia had a really good quarterback who was in the Elite 11 finals, Ryan Pugaliski or something like that. I watched him a little bit. He could sling it. They took another quarterback, and that quarterback ended up being Dylan Raiola, the number one quarterback in the country. So sometimes you can stack two quarterbacks in the same class, right? It happened with Miami this past cycle as well. So look, Bryce Underwood can go commit anywhere he wants to go and think he's the best guy. And there's not going to be a school, even if they already have two quarterbacks committed, you never say no to the number one quarterback in the country. So, yeah, I think LSU is very much in the thick of it. It's going to be very hard. But, yeah, I think LSU is right there. Now, once again, I heard weeks ago things were looking great for that. Now, I want to talk about some other recent commitments. We have talked a lot about Connor Gilbreath, okay? This is the tight end that we've already done a video on, and I didn't re-release a video today. I thought about doing it, but it was Father's Day. I don't think you guys wanted to see tight end blocking content, but we already had the video out. Connor Gilbreath commits. This is one of the most unique LSU commitments ever. Any class, any year, there's never really been something like this at LSU. And I'm not saying that Connor Gilbreath is like this unbelievably special type of talent, but it is rare that a 0-star tight end from Northern California JUCO football makes his way all the way to LSU. Now, there are rumors that he might bulk up and be an offensive tackle, but I like him. I just do. Now, athletically, I think, there is a little bit of a concern for him to take that next step to SEC ball. But when you actually put on the tape, he is the most dominant player on the field. And all he does is block. That's it. He's not a receiving tight end. He's just a guy that goes out there and just mauls people. I like that. I like having that type of player on your team. It sets a level of physicality, and it also gives LSU more depth at the tight end position. Now, look, last Sunday at this time, we were celebrating LSU making the College World Series, but then at the same time, Tavian Galloway decommitted, right? So, obviously, a lot of you are disappointed about that, and LSU through and through, and this kid just kept saying LSU, 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 and he was very active on Twitter. And, you fall in love with these kind of guys. And now you have this guy, they part ways, if you will, and you're bringing in a tight end who's not like Tavian Galloway. He's a 0-star recruit, basically. And he's not, like just this unbelievably athletic marvel. But you know what you're getting. He's doing something that not many tight ends can do, and that's block. That's what he likes to do. So I've got to be honest with you. I like it. I think it's worth the shot. I think it's worth the scholarship. And this also puts LSU in a position where if they need a blocking tight end, you don't need to put a square peg in the round hole. So I am really freaking excited about Connor Gilbreath at LSU. Once again, it could go bad, as it could with any recruits, but I like it. I absolutely like it. Now, the way I understand it is he is class of 2023, so he should be ready to go right now. But I may be totally wrong about that. I have heard both. I've had this explained to me. I know it's an interesting thing because you come from the JUCO and all that stuff. I do think he is immediately eligible for LSU. But feel free, any one of you, to correct me if I'm wrong. I really appreciate Culturally Controversial Podcast. We had a great discussion about some of the greatest freestyle rappers of all time in the last PHL. Good to have you be a part of the PHL community. And we get to this point in the live stream. I actually had a whole Father's Day thing set up, but it's been a long night with, the tornadoes and all that stuff. But I should have started off with this because we always say this to PHL Nation. The super dads of PHL. Now, once I get a little preachy, I'll lose viewers. Guess what? Go right on ahead. Be my guest. Because you guys know I will always say this. Dads, you are so important. Be present. Okay? Be present. I was very lucky to get to spend Father's Day with both of my dads tonight. Okay? And actually earlier today. And they are the absolute best. I even had my dad be a co-host of the Joe Burrow conversation that we had just a few weeks ago with the GOAT. Okay? So, I got to be real with you. Very important day for me. Super Dad's a PHL. I love you. We always talk about it. And I think it's very important, right? I think that's where honestly, I think that's where a lot of issues stem from. Just point it out there. Okay. Obviously, it's in that type of channel. We're a sports channel. I get it. But wanted to shout out all the super dads of PHL. You know who you are. Okay. So Connor will be enrolling in July as per Connor, and he will be moving to offensive line and tackle. Let's go. But I also think he will play some blocking tight end on heavy sets. So they did this last year actually with Marcus Dumerville, who's now at Maryland. They gave him a jersey number. They gave him number 81 when they actually had him out there playing tight end in 14 personnel sets. So there you go. Let's see. Chad Jones Jr. Yeah. So check out my latest short on that. Chad Jones has a son. Yes. And apparently he's a beast. Apparently. So we posted about that earlier on our YouTube shorts. And as you know, Chad Jones is one of the GOATs at LSU. He's up there. All right. He is definitely up there. Now, I've touched on pretty much everything that I wanted to. I wanted to take a look at the poll question really quickly. Are you watching the College World Series? Heck, yes. Is currently tied with yes, but only LSU. And then 16% of you say no. There you go. Now let me ask you this. And I want to be as honest as I possibly can about, next year's team, because obviously there's a good portion of you that don't care at all about recruiting. And I get it. You rather just talk about the current team. And that's what we're going to do right now. Okay? It is mostly recruiting right now. That is what happens. And honestly, recruiting is such a 24/7 sport that the recruiting at all levels in all sports is starting to get insane. So, just for reference, LSU baseball actually just landed their biggest transfer they're probably going to land. A very good starting pitcher out of Xavier. Yes, David West Xavier. And he had a sub-2 ERA, and they got a commit from him today. Okay, so think about it. College World Series, LSU baseball, they've got bigger fish to fry than one recruit for next season, but that shows you how important he is, right? And they got a kid from, South Carolina to come over and all that stuff. So recruiting is 24/7, and that's what the analytics tell me. right? If I post a recruiting video, it outperforms pretty much everything else I do. So a lot of you do care about recruiting. Some of you just care about the current team. Okay. So look, I will talk about the current team now. I believe that the more I look into what LSU strengths and weaknesses will be next year, I think one area of improvement for them will be third down. Okay. So if you take a look at just the raw numbers, and we talked about this briefly, but once I dug a little bit deeper, LSU's third down numbers changed drastically in their conference games compared to their non-power 5 non-conference games. Okay, so the third down efficiency was actually pretty good for LSU. They were second in the SEC in third down conversions, and that was really good. And LSU last year on 3rd and 10 and less was amongst the SEC's best at each distance, at 3rd and 9 or 10, or 3rd and 7 or 8, or 3rd and 5 and 6, or 3rd and 3 and 4, or 3rd and 1 and 2. They were some of the best. Now, 3rd and long, they struggled. We'll talk about that more as we move closer to the season. But the issue for LSU, and this is just a general consensus here. Part of the major issues for LSU is that their third down conversion rates really began to sag when they began to play the better teams. So LSU on 3rd and long, or just any distance, they were far better in their 4 non-power 5 non-conference games. And I include Purdue into that because Purdue was playing all backups pretty much everywhere on the field. So if you take out the Southern game, if you take out the Purdue game, if you take out New Mexico, if you take out UAB, you are left with a pretty decent sample of 10 games. Okay. So when you take those 4 games out, LSU went from 2nd in the SEC in third down conversions to about 7th or 8th in the SEC. They went from, I think, like a 47 to 48% clip down to a 38% clip. So, an LSU burner, people care about baseball. We'll talk about baseball soon, but we'll mostly talk about football. But yeah, what's very interesting about that is when you look at all the statistics for LSU, what really skewed the data is how badly LSU dominated the teams that they were supposed to dominate. So normally, like during the college football season, one of these non-power 5 non-conference games are a little sticky, right? They're a little tricky. That was not the case for LSU. Southern obviously was a disaster. Then New Mexico was only a 2-win team. And of course, UAB, they were a really solid 500 team with a running back who got drafted, but Jayden and the guys played really well. So look, LSU did a really good job beating down the teams that they were supposed to beat, including Purdue, right? They were a inferior team, and we scared we beat them down 65-7. Okay. So, the bottom line is when you play those types of blowouts, it can really make your team, their numbers look a lot better than they actually were. So, for me, I think LSU's numbers, even if you take those games out, they're still solid, but they are not consistent of what you normally see from a college football playoff team. So I say all of that because you need this team to take that leap. And I do think it is in the cards for them to take that leap to being like just a solid team, which they are now, to being a spectacular team, to being a team that is closer to 2022 Georgia and even 2022 Ohio State or whoever it may be, right? So I don't think anybody would. I think a lot of people can see that potential is there, but they still need to get to that level. Now, what is very interesting, okay, and a lot of people do care about CWS, okay? Brand's a cat, what's good? Our first super chatter of the evening is Geraldo. What's up, Jared? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really do. Now, what I would say about LSU as we move forward is I do think the team, obviously, we regressed in those final two games. Also got a little tired. But one thing that really stood out to me is the stat called game control. All right. So game control is not really that important of a stat, right? In the grand scheme of things, if LSU only loses one game next year, they are probably getting into the field of four. Okay. Especially if that one game is just Florida State and they run the table the rest of the way. They're still getting into the college football playoff. It doesn't matter how you cut it, right? If LSU would have beaten Texas A&M and beaten Georgia, they would have definitely still gotten into the college football playoff with two losses. Okay. So, what I would say is when you actually go look at like a game control variable, like win probability, okay, when LSU's win probability was 95% or higher, they were actually 31st in college football. So yeah, I mean, I honestly think LSU is in a position where you would like to see them dominate more games next year. And normally teams that go to the college football playoff, they're in the top 10 in game control. But we were actually around the same levels of, let's say, an Ole Miss and Mississippi State. So yeah, for me, I truly do believe LSU's game control is going to get better. But you need, in order for your game control to get better, you've got to be better right out of the gates, right? We were slow to start versus Florida State, slow to start versus Mississippi State, slow-ish to start versus Alabama, slow to start versus Arkansas. And we're actually fine to start versus Texas A&M and Georgia offensively, but defensively we weren't. So there you go. Now, let's see. LSU Burner, you're kind of spamming the chat, so just calm it down just a little bit if you can. Desmond, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Goes a long way. And you get to pick the next topic. Go right on ahead. Okay. Desmond, anything you want to talk about? We'll go straight to it. Fantastic. Good to see you. There you go. Yeah, it's hard to go football year round. As much as I love it. You know, I love talking about other sports too. I love the NBA. I love it all. Love the EPL. I love it all. One thing for me, and this is Desmond Super Chat. So while I put this up here, let me share one thing. All right. I do think when it comes to college football recruiting, it can get very, very, very old, very, very, very fast. So I get why some people get really tired of it. And we touched on this in the last live stream. Um, they're I'll put it this way. Okay. I had a coach reach out to me and say he's burnt out. Not an LSU coach. This is actually a coach in the D2 level. And that's D2 recruiting. So that person is making less than 6 figures to work 10-hour days. But as a super chat, will LSU go 10 for 10 on recruits in the state of Louisiana? Okay. It's something that LSU has not done in quite some time. So let's go through it. Dominic McKinley. Type Y for yes, type N for no. My recruiting superstars out there. How do you feel about Dominic McKinley? It is a little interesting that he has slid some in the 247 composite. He was a firm 5-star on the 247 composite. And now, kind of like the same thing that happened to Will Campbell, Walker Howard, and Jacoby Matthews. They were like middle tier 5-stars, and then they slipped into that 35 to 40 range, which is like the highest level 4-star you could be. Okay. Do you believe? I believe that Dominic McKinley will choose LSU eventually. Wardell Mack. Do you think he'll eventually choose LSU? I do. Okay. I don't feel as strongly about that as I do Tylen Singleton, who, I'll put it this way. I think that one might be dropping pretty soon. Okay. Now you get down to Kalaj Cobbins. He's already committed to LSU. Deshaun McBride, he's already committed to LSU. Juwan Johnson was competing in the LSU camps this weekend, already committed to LSU. Joel Rogers, as you guys saw, already committed to LSU. And then we get down here, Kobe Young, who I like a lot. Will he commit to LSU? I don't know. It is interesting. I don't know how this is the case. Their national rankings are the exact same. Kobe Young and Michael Turner. Michael Turner just got the LSU offer, and he is a wide receiver. Now, he also plays DB, plays at John Curtis, who runs like an option offense. He will likely commit to LSU. I really do think so. He just got the offer this weekend. And Demarion Johnson out of Westgate, that's where Kayshawn went. That's where Josh Jurasic went. Lots of good players coming out of New Iberia. Johnson is already committed to LSU, an interesting defensive tackle prospect. Now, of course, there's some other 3-stars. Kylan Billiot, currently committed to LSU, and Kari Lee, currently committed to LSU. He recently camped at LSU, and Ahmad Bro, also recently at LSU out of Ruston, is also committed. Wallace Foster, 3-star DB out of New Orleans, also committed to LSU. And I think that is about it. But kickers are people too. Aaron Burrell, also committed to LSU. Okay? It's kind of random to see this, but LSU's got the number 1 and number 2 kickers in the country. Okay? Which is kind of random. So, as you can see, LSU is going to land all these guys. Now, you would like to think, obviously, or you would not like to think, but maybe, just maybe, someone drops a crazy bag to not have Brian Kelly have all this momentum. I think LSU is going to get them all. I do. But what I would also say is this. I am a believer in recruiting Louisiana heavier than other states. So if you are a 3-star from the state of Louisiana, you love them. Go for it. I prefer a Louisiana 3-star out of an out-of-state 3-star, unless that out-of-state 3-star really wants to be at LSU and really is well put together, okay, mentally and physically. So there you go. No. It was our last stream. I got more super chats telling those comedian stories than any other live stream I've had all summer. You guys saw it. It was absolutely crazy. But yeah, this is an example right here. Jared just doesn't care about recruiting. And I'm going to be honest. I'm fine with it. I really am. But one of my favorite shows I have ever done, I co-hosted a show with T-Bob for a while, and we did not chat recruiting at all. We were very upfront about it. We said we're just not going to do recruiting. And part of it was, just to be different, but also part of it is just a pushback on this whole industry. It is crazy how much pressure, these kids are under to make the decision. But at the same time, it's also chaos, right? It's absolute chaos. And T-Bomb and I did that show before NIL, before Portal, before all of that. And it gets old. It really does get old really quickly. Now, it's not me saying I absolutely despise it. I understand the importance of it. But, like the daily check-ins or weekly check-ins where people will report so-and-so is loving LSU. But that same recruit is loving Ohio State. He's loving Michigan. He's loving Tennessee. He's loving the Carolina Panthers. He's loving the Manchester United Red Devils. He's loving it all. Okay? So there you go. Now, I won't talk too much about Colin Simmons today. We have talked a lot about him. But if you super chat, I'll talk more Colin Simmons tonight. Jack, good to see you. Lots of beautiful PHLers in this chat tonight. I love it, man. Jack is absolutely destroying it lately in the chat. I appreciate you. As is my guy, Doug Knows. There you have it. But yes, Colin Simmons, you good luck. Good luck. Now, the next thing, and Desmond, if you want to talk about anything else, your super chat is still my latest super chat, so we'll go straight to it. But I want to get on. I want to get into a few different things here. I feel as if we've touched on Bryce Underwood. Obviously, you'll be getting some good recruiting news in the next 48 hours. Okay. Something else that I will say. All right, and I'll shift back to LSU baseball in just a second. But one thing I'll say about the NIL stuff and the name, image, and likeness and recruiting, all of it. I do believe that there will be some course correction on all of this. But because there are no guardrails, I don't know what's next for all of it either. Like, I get this question a lot. How many players are making 5 figures? I get this. How many college athletes do you think are making 10K? Now, Jason Belzer, who is a collective guru, runs a lot of different collective accounts, says the average Power 5 Division I player is making 18K. Okay? Whether you believe it or not, I don't know what to think about it. I think some of that is conjecture. I really do. But But I don't know exactly what's next. I really don't. Like, I don't know if, like, for instance, let's say Colin Simmons, right? He knows how good he is. It's very clear with the social media that anywhere he goes, he's going to be very successful. I just think it's important to understand where any one of these 4 or 5 stars that really move the needle, they have all the leverage. And it's very interesting that at this point in time, when they are at their absolute youngest as athletes, is when they hold the absolute most leverage. Okay. Even in the NFL, unless you are a god superstar in the NFL, you're a Burrow, or you're obviously Justin Jefferson's going to be the highest paid receiver ever. When the Vikings, give him the keys to whatever he wants, he's gonna get the name as price, basically. But unless you are that, with college football, you can go wherever you want. Oh, you only get 5 official visits? No, you don't. Take as many as you want. Okay? There are no limits. There are no limits. Okay? And I do think limits in most aspects of life are a good thing, right? Now, it helps a school like LSU that they are allowed to sign more than 25 kids in a class. I always thought that number was kind of low, but still. So you can sign an unlimited amount of people you want in a class. I don't know if I like that. You can take it as many official visits as you can. I think it's a good thing for the kid. I really do. I don't know how much I like that, though. Because if you're, as a kid, if you could just take unlimited, right? I think that adds more stress, because you're like, God, I could just go anywhere. At some point, with your schedule and wherever you live, you're gonna have to start making some decisions, right? And obviously with NIL, there is no limit. Recruiting, yes, there are dead periods, but there's no limit on how many texts you could send a kid, or letters, or whatever the case may be. There really isn't, if we're being quite honest here. And I understand it's easy to crap on the NCAA. I get it. I totally get it. But could you imagine a lot of different things in life if there weren't limits? It's crazy, right? But everything in college football is unlimited right now. It blows my mind. It really does. So I don't think it's necessarily good for the teams. I don't think it's necessarily good for the players. I think they're, and this is coming from just hearing from different coaches, and also hearing this from different parents of the recruits. It's wild. This everything about this is just wild. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. All right, William T. Yeah, it's crazy. The OVs are unlimited starting July 1st. Okay. I would trust Pooh Bear's knowledge on this. He knows more than anybody else here. Okay. Now, this sounds like I'm Debbie Downer on college football. The sports are going to be fine. None of this is like criminal. It's not like, I don't think this is like a crime against humanity that this is happening. But I just think it's haywire. And I think burnout will begin to happen a lot more than it already is. Okay. Now, I don't think you can limit NIL. You obviously can't limit anybody to spend anything. But, you know, for what it's worth for me, I do think something needs to change. I don't know exactly the best way to do that, but I don't think we could keep going the way that we're going. Now, what I will also say, all right, LSU Burner, I'm going to have to put you in timeout really quickly. It's all love, man, but you just kept spamming the chat. Now, what I would also say, okay, I kind of want to get this out tonight. This guy's a pretty good podcaster now. Jalen Collins. I loved him. Out of the ATL, baby. No, he was out of Mississippi. He played for the Falcons. That's right. One thing I think that would be pretty good, though, is, or let me put it this way. One thing that I think makes this very hard is the universities themselves are so busy. Okay. Conference realignment is still happening. Okay. So everybody's super busy right now. Everybody's super busy. All right. So once again, Golden Boot. I'll trust his knowledge on this. You could still only get one OV per school. That's true. Also, that's a lot of travel. Most kids won't get that many trips. Schools still have the funds to pay for all of that. Okay. It's true. But that's part of it. Is I think it's just really hard to budget for all of that from a player and a coach. I mean, from the player and the school. And what I think that does is, like for instance, let's say the kid that went to Oklahoma recently and he just left. He went through spring. He's from Florida. Obviously, Norman is completely different than Florida, and he said, "I don't want to be here." Okay. I just think when you have too many options, it just gets to your head, right? You're like, there was an LSU player who transferred, and I knew him. He lived in West Campus Apartments, and I talked to him, and he was a backup at LSU, and he said, Carter, one thing that I really struggle with mentally is the idea that I loved LSU, but I wasn't completely sure 110% if this was the best school for me. And I said, well, why did you commit here? And he said, because I liked it, but I didn't love it. He said he liked a bunch of schools, but he never really fell in love with all of them. And he struggled. He really struggled with the mental aspect of it. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Conference realignment is also bad for college football as a sport. I agree. I do. I do. Let's see here. All right. And all right. The new poll question's up. LSU has the luxury of having a developmental coach and the best recruiters. The athletic facilities and pretty girls don't hurt either. The state needs to step up. So Brian wants to talk some Jimmy Lindsay pressure. Brian has been at most of our live streams lately. I really appreciate it. You've definitely been one of our most popular viewers. I really appreciate you showing all the support, man. Thank you so much. I agree. I do think he's under a lot of pressure. It was a different hire, right? But yeah, I mean, I do agree. I do. I think in terms of pressure, next year, obviously no one comes close to Brian Kelly basically every year until he wins a national championship. But yeah, Jimmy Lindsay is definitely up there. It's definitely up there. Keith, who also I would trust his knowledge on the subject. Many student athletes are used to being the big man on campus. It's true. One other story, and you guys know I get uncomfortable talking about academics on here, but I do think one thing some athletes struggle with is not having in high school, not having to care about school at all because they just passed, basically everything. And they have, when you're in high school, you have relationships with all your teachers, all your classmates, they'll do your homework or whatever. And then when you actually get to college, you have to put forth some effort. Okay. You got to put forth, you got to, write your name on the test and you'll pass essentially. But some players don't even want to do that. There's a lot of this. But yeah, I struggled with academics, so it's kind of tough, but it's true. When you're the big man, it's great. But when everybody around you runs 4.5s, and as strong as you are, and it's not the same. It is not the same. Everybody in D1 college football, they are quite literally built different. Okay? They didn't come to play school. That is an all-time college football saying. Now, Z baby. Nothing wrong with Z baby. Look at that. Huh? Look at that. Don't forget, Underdog Fantasy, UnderdogFantasy.com. If you want to support PHL playing fantasy football, please go sign up. Underdog Fantasy, UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code Carter. There's some tournaments on there. You can win $3 million. And by the way, they set your lineup for you. You don't even have to set the lineup. They do it for you. Underdog Fantasy, Underdog Fantasy.com. UnderdogFantasy.com. Joseph, what's up? Then you have to dig deeper within yourself. Everyone wants to be a beast until they see what a beast does. Is it the end of John Emery? It is interesting, Branson. 8 scholarship running backs on your roster. 8. That is a lot. Like really, that's a lot. 8 scholarship rosters. roster spots. What, that's like what, 1 in every 10 players is a running back? That's crazy. 1 in every 10. William, we'll see you, man. See you on Tuesday night, brother. Tell you, man. This has to be top 5 PHL. He's got a Burrow Heisen shirt. His wife and daughter have PHL shirts. We got the kid. We got the dog. Got the swimming pool. It's crazy. Somebody will transfer. I agree, Joseph. Good to see you. Brian, an LSU football coach, man, he's got the knowledge, man. He's got the knowledge. Now, here's what you're gonna do, because we did start a little bit later than normal. Okay. In the next 10 minutes, I'll answer as many questions as we possibly can. But if you super chat, we'll keep this thing going all night long. Okay? In the next 10 minutes. But I want to keep it going. Like Thursday night's live chat was the most hilarious thing. You guys got to see me laugh so hard. Okay? Is Joseph new? No, I've seen Joseph in here. I think I follow Joseph on Twitter. But everybody, welcome Joseph to the channel. Jared, thank you for holding me accountable. So yeah, we always answer first-timer questions. I'm pretty sure I know Joseph either from this or from Twitter or something like that. Thank you so much, brother. Really appreciate you. By the way, everything's clear. Everything's clear? No tornadoes today? We're good. So you can take your tennis shoes off? Yeah, I have my shoes on, ready to go. Where's hard shoes? Yeah, hard shoes. Can't wear Crocs. Papa said hard shoes. Gotta wear. See the baby. Yes, so Twitter. Okay. So is this your first time on here? Let me know if this is your first time in my chat. Let me know. I don't know, Branson. You've been busy, man. Branson has slept on me a little bit. I gotta be honest, man. I just gotta keep it a buck. Y'all gotta understand. Okay. Branson was just at Yankee Stadium. All right. Now, it's a very good question from Joseph. Jayden Daniels is putting a lot of work this offseason. Big season loading up. Okay. Yeah, this is where it always gets tricky, because I already know what a lot of people are going to say. Well, none of this matters until he actually puts it on the field. But while it is true, I do want to share a few things that I thought was very interesting. Okay. I do think Jayden Daniels has obviously bulked up. Now, I do want to point out two things really quickly. The first is, obviously, Bill Belichick made it clear that he likes Jayden Daniels a lot. You could just kind of see that at Pro Day. You know, Bill Belichick chopped it up with them quite a bit. I mean, he's the best football coach of all time. So, you know, that's something. Also, this past weekend at Elite 11, Jayden Daniels was there, and Charles Power of On3 said outside of Caleb Williams, the most physically dominant quarterback there was Jayden Daniels. Okay. So I understand that it's not something that a lot of you want to hear, because you just like, Carter doesn't mean anything until we actually see him on the field, trust his eyes, and actually rip it before he starts running. But yes, it is unorthodox how he plays at times, but he's still very good. Like, I understand, and we've talked about it on here. Yeah, the yard per play data at times doesn't look the best. And yes, he had some bad halves this past year. And you would have liked to have seen some of the mistakes that he made last year not happen. But you have to trust him in taking that next step as an overall thrower. But even whether or not that actually happens, it hasn't been for a lack of trying. Someone close to me, to Jayden, someone close to Jayden, who I've gotten to know pretty well, has, sent me some very good messages about him working out with CJ Stroud, him working out with Bryce Young. Obviously, you can't just be some slouch to work out with those guys. This Elite 11 stuff, him working out, him putting in the work in California, him, doing RPO drills and all of this. One thing I will say about Jayden is, whether or not, if all of this comes together this final season, I am so happy he has been LSU's quarterback, because obviously we don't win as many games with him as we would have without him. And the second thing is, he represents LSU really well, right? He says all the right things. He's affable. He smiles, plays through injury. He's going to show up. I love it. So I'm glad you brought that up, Joseph. Obviously, I'm a big Jayden fan. I got his freaking bobblehead up here. So I'm really excited. I'm really, really freaking excited to see what's going to happen if all of this, is a major step forward for him. If I gave you a stat line of 70% completion, 3,500 yards, and 25 TDs, 3,500 is high. I mean, it's not insurmountable, but it's relatively high. Let me pull up the stats here. Conferences, and just so you can see where he is relative to the rest of the SEC. So let's do total yards here. So obviously Jayden was right at 3,000 yards, and that was in 14 games. Really 13, because he didn't play the second half of some of these games. So, as you can see, in the total yards, he was right at that 3,000 yard mark. Okay. So, can he get up to 3,500? Only two quarterbacks in the SEC got to 3,500 last year. BRYCE would have gotten there. Hendon would have gotten there. So, in theory, 4 got to 3,500. So yeah. If he has 70% completion, we're winning it all. Let's see. Yeah, he was right there last year. That's true. Yeah, it's not a reach. It is definitely within the realm of possibility. But yeah, so obviously if we play 15 games, he'll get there. If we play 14, so in 14, and in actuality, it was probably closer to like 13 games of snaps, he was right at 3K. So yeah, 3,500 is definitely there. Okay. I'm betting the whole ticket on the Tigers this year. Defense has got to be top 3 in the SEC. Well, I'll tell you this. LSU's price for winning the national championship next year has gotten worse. There was some sharp action at LSU plus 2,000. It is now, I think, around plus 1,400 to win the Natty. So, yeah, I think it's possible. I really do. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Jayden next year. Now, let me ask you guys this. There's a lot of sharp people in here. Lots of super dads in here. The game you're worried about is week 1, as you should be. Florida State's probably the best team on our schedule. Okay. Now, Alabama will be the only game where we will be underdogs. I think we'll close as a favorite versus Florida State. But yeah, let me see. Do I really think Florida State is the toughest game on our schedule? I do. Let's put it up. Let's put it up there. There you go. I think it is, but it also just depends, Branson, on your definition of tough, right? Like, look, my definition of tough might be different than your definition of tough. If you mean, is that the best team we're going to play next year? I think Florida State is the best team we'll play next year. But I don't think that that's a game that worries me the most. I think that Ole Miss, Missouri back-to-back is just so tricky. I really don't like that one at all. I'm fine with Auburn and where it is, but God. And by the way, I think that Auburn game at home in Tiger Stadium could be an 11 a.m. kickoff. Okay. You know, I think that game could be an 11 a.m. because CBS gets a day game doubleheader that day. And if the number 2 game CBS picks is LSU Auburn, we will be in that 11 a.m. slot. So, yeah. And that obviously is not good for us because we never play our best versus Auburn. I could pull up all the data and yard per play discrepancies in that game. In those games over the years, it is very bizarre, but we would just never play our best for whatever reason. There's a lot of different reasons. We did a live stream on it on Tuesday. If we're undefeated going into Bama, do you think we're still underdogs? Yes. Because unless Alabama, okay, let me put it this way. If we are just knocking the cover off of everybody we play next year, and Alabama has like 2 losses, we will probably be a slight favorite, right? So yeah, obviously how the teams come out and look next year is going to go a long way, but I just don't see a world where Alabama just isn't good next year. Okay. Yeah, the Packers week 2. AP, the game Yeah, I wish Sibley was in here. Because he obviously knows Texas like the back of his hand. Text him, see what he's doing. Yeah, Alabama, Texas is huge in week 2. Huge. Game's at home, though. I do need to get a new schedule because I still get it. Is that Green Bay? Is that Georgia? Playing the Graham fam. So there you go. Yeah, I know. I think Pegasus is joshing. That would be a brutal back-to-back. Let's see. What? Don't forget. Let me ask you this. So I got 96 of you in here. In the comment section right now, I'm going to answer I'm going to answer this question here about Alabama, Texas. I'm going to give you my big Texas hot take going into next year. Okay? But in the chat right now, obviously PHL's doing really well right now. Okay? Live streams on Sundays, we're touching about 100, which is obviously good. And then obviously, I do want to include this. Just keep up to date with PHL on like when we're going to do live streams, because LSU baseball obviously changes things with the College World Series. I don't really want to be live while that's happening because we all want to watch that. But in the chat right now, tell me, what type of content do you want to see more of? Do you want to see more shorts? Do you like the short form stuff? Like the Chad Jones video from earlier? Do you want more film studies? Do you want more recruiting? Give me whatever you want in the chat. Now, some of you like Skipper and Jared, you like it all. But some of you only like certain types. Like I know Brian mostly likes the live streams. Mike mostly likes the live streams. We're all kind of hanging out. LA Mom as well. Let me know what you guys want to see, because as much as my name is on the channel and as much as this is my dream, I only get to do this because of you, right? Whether you're donating or you're not. Now, once again, the super chats, that is 90% of everything I do here. But I'm going to be experimenting with a lot because I want to be national. I want to do something to where I really am doing this full time and I'm able to live comfortably and have a family and all that stuff. Right? So, yeah. Let me know. Okay. Do a call-in show? Okay, let's do that. You want to come on right now, Jared? I'll put you on. You know I love you, man. Let's see. Yeah. Would y'all want to do a Jared? If you want to jump on, who wants Jared to jump on right now? I'll put him on. Mike is a PHL super fan, so Joseph likes all of it. I appreciate it. I'm pretty sure I've been following you on Twitter, or we've been in a Twitter space together before, or something like that. Now, I want to share something pretty cool with you. Actually, I won't reveal this just yet, but okay. The ones that were at our Thursday night live stream, you'll get this joke from American Patriot. Okay. Um, and look, I understand. Like, I've had 2 of you reach out to me this week about this, saying, Carter, my super chat budget is not the same. Inflation or whatever. That's fine. As long as you're here. It is so important that you're here. Okay. Um, because you don't want to miss out on some of the stories that we tell and all that stuff. All right, so I guess Jared, you got to jump on, man. All right, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of you would want to like hear from Jared. Let's see. All right, Jared just dropped a 20 super chat. So Jared has the invite link. If he wants to jump on, he can jump on. I could put another diehard PHLer on here. Who else on? I kind of am skeptical of putting Branson on because he is in PHL idle, and I don't want to sway the votes. But I will say Branson will be making appearances on PHL quite a bit. I love Branson. I really do. He's a sharp dude. But I want to get a die-hard PHLer on in here. I could call my dad, put him on here. You've seen him. I mean, my dad wanted to make one appearance, the Joe Burrow interview, and that's it. I could put Pegasus on. Pegasus is in almost every chat. Keith. I think everybody wants Jared. I think everybody would love Jared. I know Pooh Bear would do it. Pooh Bear, are you still in here? Dude, I want election fraud claims. I think he's out for the evening. I'll put my pods back on soon. It is Father's Day, but I won't put him on tonight. He's a busy man. I enjoy learning from anyone that knows more than I think I know. That makes you feel good, Van. You're a sharp dude. Doug? All right. So I told Doug to text me. I've talked to Doug in quite some time. I will say this. Normally, you guys know I'm quick to respond to Discord messages, call-ins, and all that stuff. So I didn't want to share this. I didn't want to, but I will. So I wanted to apologize to you, Doug, because I said, hey, text me, because I just wanted to talk to you for a little bit. So I DM'd Doug my number, and he texted me, and I put my phone on Do Not Disturb for a while for a pretty good reason. And I know I've had a lot of these lately. I don't want to, I hate bringing people down or whatever, but I did lose a friend and was at his funeral yesterday. So that is the only reason I didn't respond. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, Doug, but I was slow to respond to Discord messages and all that stuff. So there you go. Look at this. Guess who just met Colin Hurly at LAX? Van, please tell me you dropped PHL because Colin Hurly, of course, is a friend of the channel. No, it's all good, Doug. Man, you can call me anytime, man. That's why I gave you my number, bro. But yeah, PHL icon. Van back in this. Good to see you. No, I appreciate that, man. It was My guy Tristan, man. Best drummer I was ever with. Yes, Zach, I can get that. I can get that. A BJ Ojolari autograph card. Absolutely. Lathan's back in this thing, y'all. My promo code for that, and we'll talk some Colin Hurly here. Y'all, Van, I could ask Colin to come on right now, but I would never do that because he is super tired. Promo code Carter. So that is the promo code right there. You make your own username, type in the promo code Carter right there. There you go. And AP, you and I could do some drafts together if you want to. But you got to make sure you put that promo code Carter. Now, I am very happy to chat some Colin Hurly. Okay. Let's see. Let me see if I have any of the Colin Hurly clips still up here. Oh, here we go. Van, look at you. Look at you. There you go. Oh, this is just the clip. Okay. We have video, like Colin Hurly jumped on PHL to break down this play. So Colin shared with us that he actually audibled into this play, and he changed the protection and everything on this play. Very impressive stuff. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing him jump into this LSU quarterback room. And look at Doug. Y'all want Van to come on? We were trying to get Jared on. Well, Van's been on here. What, Van? You've been on here 3 times. We'll put Van on. Why not? What did Van discuss with Hurly? Van needs to call in. That's great. So let's chat some Colin Hurly. Okay. I want to be clear. This guy is one of the most cerebral kids I've ever seen. Now, what is very interesting about Colin Hurly, and this is very important when you look at all the Elite 11 stuff, and he was throwing balls to Jeremiah Smith this past weekend, who is the number 1 wide receiver in the class of 2024. Understand that Colin Hurly reclassified. So he was a class of 2025 guy. He had enough credits and all of that to move up to the class of 2024. So he is in this next recruiting class. He has been starting since the 8th grade. So 8th grade, 9th grade. Last year was the 10th grade, sorry, high school sophomore. He is essentially skipping the 11th grade. So now he is 12th grade, a high school senior, right? But for the class of 2025, Colin Hurly was young for his age cycle. So one thing people get wrong about high school recruiting is, well, people think high school recruiting is just all about age, right? They just think it's all about age. When the truth is, not everybody is the same age, okay? Perfect example. I always use this example. 2 great players at LSU. DJ Chark was a 3-star of Alexandria. Leonard Fournette was a 5-star out of Louisiana. So guess what? They're in the same grade, right? Well, that's not true. DJ Chark, when he got to LSU's campus, he had not turned 18 yet. And when Leonard Fournette was on campus, he was 19 already. So it's not the same. The genetic clock, and there's a lot of different studies done on that. Now, it's not just academics athletically, or it's not just athletics academically. The older people in your grade, okay, oftentimes outperform younger in your grade. That sounds crazy, but it's true. Okay. Now, Colin Hurly is essentially a year and a half younger than everybody in the field. He had just turned 16 when he was on PHL, 4 or 5 months ago? So he is 16 and a half going up against a bunch of kids this past weekend at Elite 11 who are 18, 19. Okay. And he finished in the Elite 11. So, yeah, if you're in Louisiana, they don't let you sign up for whatever reason. I don't know. I've been trying to change that. So, my apologies to that. But yeah, I absolutely cannot stress enough how difficult that is to accomplish. So that's what makes Colin Hurly special. Like, when you go up against people that are older than you at any level, it's hard. Okay. Now, this is a good question from Jared. How does it benefit him? He's not playing for 2 years. That's a question I ask myself. Why not just stay in the class of 2025? Well, I will share a few things. The first is he's already played a lot of high school football. So he won a state championship as an 8th grader. He played a lot as a 9th grader. Then, 10th grade, this was his last starter's year. They had a 4-star running back, Trayon Webb. So they ran a little bit more of a run-based attack. But, yeah, it's nuts. And then, now, he skips this junior season and goes into his high school senior season. Okay? But, yeah, I just think, for me, Colin Hurly is in a position where I truly do think him jumping a grade is actually a good thing for LSU because it's allowed them to focus on 2019 or 2025 recruiting. And yeah, let me put this in. We might be getting a guest on here in just a second. I'm sorry, I was also a train of thought. Let me see. Let me get a guess here. Now, Doug, I did see the T-Bob video, but I also say this about T-Bob. His Tennessee preview video was so great. And I'm only sharing this now because I just kind of forgot. Just to give you a little preview here, a little behind the scenes. So when LSU clinched the College World Series, okay, that was on Sunday. That Saturday night, I went to my buddy Dane's house, went mudding and all this stuff, and I got tore up, right? I mean, it was crazy. I then get a FaceTime from someone in Baton Rouge, and guess what? It's freaking T-Bob with my cousin and Skona. And I don't even remember what we said. They don't even remember what we said. I just remember the FaceTime. It actually just came to my senses. But yes, T-Bob needs better sunscreen application. I did think that was absolutely crazy. That this kid who was class of 2025, he reclassified for 2023, and he's joining this Ole Miss quarterback room with Walker Howard, Spencer Sanders, and Dart. So now I need some clap emojis in the chat. We do have somebody that wants to jump on for a little bit. And give me a thumbs up when you're ready, guest. Let's see. Oh, looks like he's ready to go. There he is. What are you doing?
So I just came back from the American Black Film Fest in Miami. And, I'm on the plane. It's a long plane ride. I get off and I look down the terminal and I see this bushy brown hair. And my mind said that's Colin Hurly. And I just got off the phone with Rosillo a couple of days ago, and I knew that the kid had thrown at Elite 11, so they're probably going back to wherever they're from. And so I'm like, that's Colin Hurly. But here's the deal. There's always a theme. He's a high school kid. So I'm a 43-year-old man. So if you're going to go say hello to Colin Hurly, you need to know that it's Colin Hurly. So what I did is I tucked myself behind the column, got behind the column, and then I looked up Colin Hurly, and I said, okay, that's him. And I go over. There was a girl with him and another guy with him. I guess they might have been his family or something. And I looked at them. I was like, that's Colin Hurly. And the guy went, that is Colin Hurly. The young man got up. I shook hands with him. Like, I'm telling you, to say that he reclassified, he is a specimen, Carter. He's a specimen. Big kid. Gave me the handshake. Strong handshake. Told him we can't wait to get you on the campus. And then when I got closer to him, I saw that he was wearing an LSU rubber band. He had the LSU band on. So he's already repping us. I got close to him. Right here, sir. Yeah, right here. I got close to him. We talked for a little while. Told him we can't wait to have him on campus. He says he can't wait to get on campus. And that was that. But I was jazzed up, man. I was jazzed up. It's Colin Hurly. It's part of what we're doing right now at LSU. Hey, how you doing? 1 second. Thank you, my man. It's part of what we do at LSU is get them in and develop them. You know what I mean? Thank you, my man.
It's especially coming from a quarterback like yourself, Matt Mauck. I mean, goodness, it's crazy. It looks like you got yourself a little tan, Matt. That's good.
I did. So look, here's the thing. I was thinking about the play in Tiger Stadium when we were playing against Georgia. And I hit Skylar in the back of the end zone, and I was like, you know what? There was only one thing I could do better than being on a team with Skylar is I could actually be closer to him. And so I've been out in the sun. I took a break from the dentistry, and I've been learning different rap songs, and I'm one of the best. Look, you can make an argument that I'm the second best quarterback in LSU history.
That's true.
Matt Mauck, you can make an argument. Now, let me ask you a question. Would you say that, I'll come back to how I currently feel about the team now.
Yeah.
Would you say that Matt Mauck had a better or worse LSU career than Jamarcus Russell?
J. Russ is number 2.
J. Russ is number 2.
Let me know in the chat, y'all. J. Russ or Matt Mauck? J. Russ has got to be number 2. He's better than Matt. He's better than Etling. He's better than any of them. Until Jayden Daniels wins a Heisman this year.
So you tell me right now that you would, despite everything that happened, you would put it's tough, man. Mauck, every time Mauck was, every time Mauck cocked his pistol that year, something good was happening. Big throws, timely throws. It wasn't an explosive offense, but it was a competent one. He made the plays.
I will say, to play quarterback knowing that the head coach didn't like you, like Matt had to, especially one like Saban, wasn't easy. So, Matt, I get in your defense, Matt. I'm looking at you, Matt. After you pulled the reverse Sammy Sosa here, um, you you I now that you're here, until I get Jay Russ on here, I'm going to put you number 2. I'll put you number 2.
Wow. There you go.
There you go.
So let me ask you this. And this is a question for everybody that's in the chat.
Everybody.
Okay. LSU is on fire. The culture of LSU is on fire. Obviously, the women's basketball team is a phenomenon. They are not a phenomenon in the way of they are college rock stars. They're a phenomenon. Hasn't been a team like this, I would say, in women's b-ball ever, that was getting mentioned in the songs and had Angel and all that. Love them or hate them, like them or love them, they are a phenomenon. The baseball team, big, strong, swaggering monsters of the diamond. All right? Just went to the SEC championship. We were there together. It wasn't the most successful night ever, but had a schedule in the first year. Plus what we're doing in recruiting. Do you feel like Kelly and his staff will be under any pressure to maintain the wave of success that LSU sports is having? And I say that because we all know that it doesn't matter what else is happening in other parts of the school. If we're not getting it done on Saturday night, then a lot of people are going to be displeased.
Yeah, I this is something we've touched on quite a bit, and what I would say is it does help, Matt, your friend here on the screen right here. Her nephew is going to be such a good player for us next year. We get him back. We get, obviously, Jayden Daniels back. And we get the future first defensive player to win the Heisman since Charles Woodson, Harold Perkins, back.
Harold Perkins is coming back, yeah.
I with the new position, I think think this team is going to be dangerous. How do you feel? Is there anything concerning you next year?
No, you know what? I think the most key part of the team that'll be upgraded from last year is a part of the team that got better as the year went on last year, which is the line. And I personally think having a running back rotation that, we have somebody that we know is a dependable lead back, not necessarily, it's not a little. The running game is going to be much improved. We have a playmaker and a true tiger back there. And I think the offensive line found itself, especially late last year. You just cannot have a dominant football team without a cohesive and a working offensive line with a ton of chemistry. I think you're going to see the emergence of Perkins this year. As much as I hate to say this, I think the wide receivers are going to play even better this year because I think you're going to see some eating. They're going to eat when there's food to be eaten, and maybe there won't be so much thought about getting particular wide receivers involved. We're just out there to make plays and not make sure that anybody has enough touches. I think the room is going to be better. I think the competition between Nuss and Daniels is going to make for a little bit more sharpness at that position. Second year in the offense for Daniels, I expect some improvement there. And look, just so everybody knows, Coach Polian is a friend of mine. Coach Polian is a friend of mine. He is a great coach. He is a great guy. He was great in his time for LSU, but obviously I would be remiss to say that special teams play can't go anywhere but up.
Right.
So, when you're looking at that and you're not giving away games by giving away possessions and putting people in the red zone to start games, I just don't see a unit on the team right now that will be. I mean, obviously we got some questions in the secondary. We need a couple of guys to step up there, but I can't see any part of the team that I'm super worried about. It's all
Right.
about the ceiling and not about the floor. What do you think?
I agree. I think for me, obviously, the first game versus Florida State is going to be legendary. And obviously, the explosive plays have got to get better, got to get more vertical offensively. But I really love this roster. And look, Van, that's part of the reason why you became a fan of this channel. I always shoot it straight. I think this roster is special. I do. I really believe it.
What do you think the running back room is going to look like in terms of the rotations?
Logan and Josh will be the guys, but I still believe in Noah Kane. I still believe in all those guys, and I think Caleb Jackson is definitely the best athlete coming in as a true freshman, and we'll see. Let's get a few questions in here. Is Jay-Z in that stretch limo with you right now?
No, I'm not. I'm not in a stretch limo.
It kind of looked like it though.
I'm in a SUV.
SUV.
I'm in an SUV. I'm in one of the, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah, I thought that's what that was. I was like, wait, was that a limo? Nola Grizz, thank you for the super chat. You get to pick the next topic. Nola Grizz just got married, Van. You gave me
congratulations, Nola.
You gave me a pep talk before I walked down the aisle too.
Where is my sister-in-law? Where is she at?
She's asleep.
Wow.
With the doggo. We had a tornado watch here, so we started a little bit late. I'm glad we did because you're hanging out. Let's get a few more before you reach your destination. Matt Mauck, aka Van Lathan, joining us right now. Lance Hurd's going to come in and really propel the line. Doug bringing the heat.
So you think he gets on the field? I'm asking. You think he gets on the field and is a part of that line rotation this year?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, now, give me the line then.
Well, he'll be like one of the swing guys. Like he won't start, but your line's going to be Will. Your left guard, I do think Lunsford will come in and win that job, the transfer from Maryland. Then at center, it's going to be Charles Turner. Right guard, that could be a whole host of people, and then the right tackle will be none other than my favorite player on this team, Emory Jones. So
Emory Jones,
I think.
Any thoughts? If the depth gets really good, not to cut you off, if the depth gets really good, any thought to moving Emory out of the tackle position? I know me and you had talked at one point about maybe him having maybe a more natural position.
Yeah, when you and I started becoming friends, I told you I was my number one guy when he committed, and I always thought he was a guard. Towards the end of last year, he did start to regress some. He had some tough matchups. I mean, he was going up against 5-stars in the final 2 games. So I think he's a better guard, and I think Lance, if he could play right tackle year one opposite Will, that could be a national championship line right there. But obviously, it's just going to come down to where they feel Lance is at the time. And, when I met Lance, I've never seen anyone built like him. He doesn't look like an offensive tackle. He is quite, and I know we always say this, but he is quite literally built different. You want to know who he's kind of built like? He's kind of built like Nikola Jokic, your favorite NBA player.
Yeah.
He is light on his feet. Like if you look at Jokic, you would think he's like just like fat or chunky, but Jokic is like relatively. I know he's doughy, but he's kind of lean, right? He's got
but he's monster strong also.
Right. And Lance is kind of like that too. Like I remember so we did a PHL meetup and he was part of the event that we did. And when I met him, I was really shocked at his build. because I brought all these shirts, and I brought like a 3X and a 4X for him, and he said I wear 2X, and I was like, that is so interesting. It's a 320-pound offensive lineman wears 2X. Like you would never think that.
That doesn't concern you a little bit, like in terms of the SEC. I know at tackle there's a little bit more athleticism involved in that position, but I'm like Bill Parcells. I like big dudes.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
but that's the thing. He is still
Yeah,
massive. He's just built like an NBA guy. Like he did.
yeah.
Like he is very, very special, and he's got a mentality. He said he wants to start at left tackle. He wants Will Campbell's job.
Well, that's not going to happen, young man.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Well, no, but so
yeah,
I want to just for clarification, I'm not going to misquote Lance Hurd. If people want to go
yeah.
listen to the interview, you can go find it on PHL. He clarified everything in our conversation. It was a competitive thing between him and Will. It was kind of, like it's they're best friends. So he just wanted it out there. He wants that job. Nola Grizz with the super chat. Is anything less than a playoff spot? Is it a letdown, Van?
No,
Oh no.
no. Look, here's the thing. The way I look at this, you guys, I'm a little bit older. I don't know how old the people are. I've been watching LSU for a long time. To me, the way that I keep my sanity and my eyes on what's actually happening on the field and in recruiting is to look at this with a sanitized, grounded, real world perspective. And going into a season with a team that we're expecting improvement from, but is still largely unproven, right? They've proved that they can compete in the SEC, but look, there's still transfers to be worked in. There's still a roster that you're still building out. There's still the infrastructure of a program that is still being built at LSU right now. That's what's happening. So to go in there and say that, anything other than a playoff would be a disappointment, that means that if we go 11-2 and we win the or whatever and we win the Fiesta Bowl, then I would be disappointed. No, I would be stoked. You know what I mean? I would be stoked.
Right.
But am I expecting great things from the team? Yeah. But all of these guys, they got to go on the field and they got to play. I'll never let what happened to me with past teams happen again. We need to line up against Florida State, and we need to see this team ready to play day one. We need to see Jayden. We need to see some of the guys who are going to have larger roles than they had last year ready to play. We need to know how everybody's progressed. And then I'll start talking about the playoff week 4, week 5 after we got to – but, like, going into the season, I'm not doing that no more, man.
Can't let
You know
yourself
what I mean?
down.
If we'd have gone like if we'd have gone last year, let's say it was 2019 and Joe Burrow came back and we were returning all of these guys. Yeah, this is a team that go out there. And I expect this team to be in the playoff. They were a shoo-in the playoff last year. You know what I mean? It's like you have to go out and see how the team is playing see how it's constructed, and see what the DNA of the team is. And you can't know
Right.
that like with game one. You just can't.
You were mentioning age. We released a video on this earlier. Chad Jones Jr.
I've seen that.
Making a recruiting visit.
Yeah, I saw that. That's nuts. Looking just like his dad. He looked like a looking like a full-grown man. Southern Lab got some dogs over there, huh? A full-grown man.
It's crazy. Before we let you go here, my 9-year-old just walked in and said, "That ain't Matt Mauck." It is.
It is me. I'm a champion. I went and had a cup of coffee in the NFL. But my true heart is, LSU. What I was able to do, I was on the field with a Heisman Trophy winner. I dueled him, won a national championship. That's me, Mauck. I
Let's
was
go.
the greatest quarterback in college football history. I'm the greatest quarterback in LSU history. Well, now you got to go a little bit. Everybody's going to go back and then let's talk about Wyatt Tittle and all of this and whatever. But Matt Mock, I love you. Carter, I love it. Yo, we're so close, guys. Carter, I have a question for you.
Let's
You
go.
want to come to Florida with me for the first game? Are you going?
I mean, are you going?
Oh, yeah, they got me set up.
Oh, they got you set up? I mean, just
Yeah, they
this
got me set up.
week, a Florida State player, former Florida State player, offered me something. So
Let's go. Let's go to the game.
You're kind of put me on the spot here, I guess.
Let's
Can
go to the
I
game.
think? Can I think on it, or do I have to just say yes right now?
Can I ask you a question before I go?
Yeah.
What is there to think about? What is there to think about? Like what's going on?
Well,
You have is this a what's your deal? What is there to think about? Come to the game with me. 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 Carter, come to the game with me. Carter, come to the game with me. Why? Why would you have to think? Like you've been married for a couple of months and Haley's already not letting you out of the house? Why can't we go to the game?
no, it's not.
Come
It's
to the
not that.
game with me.
I'm going to Arkansas week 4, and I'm going to Chicago at the end of July. But yeah,
Okay, so
I
here's
guess
what I'm gonna do. So wherever you go, I'm gonna come with you. You know, so when you go to Arkansas, I'm just gonna pop up. When you go to Chicago, I'm just gonna pop up.
you should.
I'm just gonna pop up all the places you travel.
Well,
Come to
I
the
think
game with me.
I think I'm actually going to an event where I met you know who. When we first started texting, I sent you a photo of he might be at this event. I'll hit you. We'll talk about it later. All right, bud.
Talk about it all. All right,
Yeah, I'll
guys.
talk about it.
PHL.
All right, guys.
Boom. Boom.
Boom.
I'm looking
Now
at
give me
you.
your bet. You got to give me your no. Stop. You got to give me your best. Let's go.
Let's go. Film study today. Is Brian Kelly in trouble? Here's the thing. Mike Denbrock's offense, it's known to not really be able to get vertical. When you're talking about getting vertical, this is something I've seen in the film study. I've watched it at Cincinnati. You got to look in terms of the way he ran his offense and his yards per play before when he was with Cincinnati. We're going to be talking about that now. Film study. It's going to be 2 hours and 15 minutes long. Boom. I'm looking at you. All right, bye.
All right, bud. Later.
Peace.
Matt Mauck, PHL Nation. Only the best guest on the channel. All right, Zach, are you going to Orlando? Well, wait, Zach, Zach, are you, please tell me you're jello shotting right now. Please tell me, Zach, I will pay you to jump on here right now to do a jello shot from Rocco's. Please tell me you're at the Rocco's. Are you there right now? Please tell me, are you there right now? Please. So tomorrow, no, not tomorrow. You got to be there right now. So Zach flew into Omaha. He made a YOLO trip. He's going for the Wake Forest game. Go big or go home. Vintage Carter impersonation. I love it. No, if I want to go, Haley likes it when I go out of town. Now, that's the thing, though. If your wife likes it when you go out of town, that makes you go like, hey, now why? Why do you like it so much? But no, she don't have a problem with it. It's just funds, right? Like, it's hard to go on a trip somewhere and it costs money to go on that trip, and it hurts your ability to do the things that actually pay your bills, such as doing pregame, halftime, postgame, and a 5-hour film study, as Van was alluding to there, after the game. It is hard. It is hard. It is hard. It is hard. But that's the balance. So like last year, we went to 2 games last year. One was a game that we didn't even go to. We did the show from New Orleans, right? From Stumpy's. And then we went to the actual Alabama game. And then, of course, the Georgia game. So we went to 2 games, but, I was on location for 3 of them. It is so hard to do all the stuff that we have to do for the game. But obviously in Orlando, if I can find a way to do it that is within the realm of possibility, we'll go do it. But Rome, please send me a video of you doing the Rocco shot. Got to break that Ole Miss record. Well, I know for sure it is not an issue for Nola Grizz to drink a lot of Jello shots. I've partied with Nola Grizz before, once at Stumpy's. Your crew goes hard in the paint. The wifey, congratulations. I go hard in the paint. Y'all do a Saints tailgate. I just kind of want to come to your restaurant. So Cole is for sure going to Orlando. So we got Jared's going, Carvis is going, Cole's going, Van's going. A lot of y'all are going. Nola Grizz owns a restaurant in New Orleans. Oak Oven, anytime, VIP status. So what is it? It's like Italian. If you got a Van, so I've been to dinner with Van. I think we've gone like 2 or 3 times. That's Van. I can eat. I'm chubby. Like, I am nowhere close. I looked at a photo of me doing a radio show like a decade ago. I still had like soccer frame, looking decent. I am just fat. I still try and go run. I just accept the fact that I am washed. Like I am more washed than Zeke Elliott right now. The tread is worn off the tires here. So Doug skipping Orlando, going to Vegas. I get that. Doug, keep me posted on you know what. The problem with Orlando, the good thing about going to the Orlando game is I know Haley's has no desire to go to Orlando, but obviously everybody has a desire to go to Vegas. So I got to for sure take her to the Vegas opener a year and a half from now versus USC. Now, the issue, all right, okay, now this is the biggest issue that is going to drive a stake through our relationship, okay? There are these rumors that the Super Bowl halftime show next year is going to be Harry Styles, Okay. Obviously, Haley's going to want to go to that. All she does is listen to Harry Styles nonstop. It's nonstop. Harry Styles, nonstop. It was tonight, Harry Styles. And now I got to figure out a way. If that happens, you guys know how expensive it is to get in the Super Bowl. But I also know that, like, at the halftime show, they have all these people that run out on the field for the performance, like, just to add effect. I got to figure out how to get Haley on the field, right? I've got to try. She doesn't care about the game. She can care less about the game. I've got to get her on the field for Harry Styles. I do, especially if that happens. So I got to take her to Vegas twice. Take the ladies to Disneyland. I've never been to Disneyland. We got to go. Sicilian-inspired, made and born and raised New Orleans native, classically trained in Italy and Sicily. Oak Oven Restaurant. Narahan. Oh, here we go. We got a website. I've been to your website before. Let's see. Here we go. So yeah, I would think it would be Taylor. And Haley's a big Taylor fan. She went. If Haley didn't go see Taylor Swift in Dallas, I wouldn't have been able to go to the Final Four. Okay, but yeah, I think it would because Taylor's never done the halftime, so it's got to be Taylor. And then they'll do Harry Styles. I don't think that Harry Styles will be the halftime show for the Super Bowl until there is a team in London. When the NFL announces a team in London, they will actually have Harry Styles do it. Look at this. I like this right here, the restaurant. That's cool. Look at you, Nola Grizz. Oh, look at it. We got some gluten-free action here. So we got a bunch of vegan options. There we go. Let's see. Oh man, we got fancy words in the menu. Insalate. Or I don't want to. Look at that. This is what y'all get on PHL. You get Matt Mauck updates. Watch we get an email from Matt Mauck's dentistry tomorrow. Hey Carter, first off, your teeth look awful, and I got bad teeth. But second, I've got to send a cease and desist letter. Wood-fired pizza, lamb meatball pizza. That looks good for only a 14 spot. Only a 14 spot. Oh man, that would soak up all the alcohol too. Oh, we got lasagna. Got a 14 lasagna to 26 lasagna. Oh man. It's Nola Grizz. Y'all got a menu. Oh, you got every wine on here. Oh, look at this. Oh, we got some bread pudding action. Look at that pizza. Look at you. I love it, man. This is perfect. Carbs for days. When I go to an Italian restaurant, I want to barely be able to walk when I get out of that mother. You know what? Thanks, Mike. It's true vintage Italian. All right, Nola Grizz, you got to make. Okay, the wood-fired oven is imported from Italy and fired by local wood. Oh, that is so cool. That is awesome. Look at that bread pudding. Oh, man, that's my favorite. Ah. Douglas better than those cheesesteaks, huh? Oh, we got a chicken parm. Oh, wait, this exists? There is a chicken parm dish that serves 8 to 10 that you can get for a 65 spot? Wait, what does that even look like? There really a table of people that would say, "Yeah, I want the chicken parm, the one that's like a, the one that can feed the entire state of South Dakota. That's the one I want." Spicy crab and pumpkin soup. This all looks interesting. Cameron, oh, y'all been an eater, thrillist? Okay. And there are their hours, right there. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's good stuff. See what happens when you super chat? You get my stamp of approval. Wait, someone has sat down at the table and said, "Yeah, I want the chicken parm. Oh, would you like the small or large? I want the massive." Oh, man, I love that. I freaking love it. You just. Mm. Now, here's what we're going to do. In the next 5 minutes, I'll answer as many questions as we possibly can. This has been a wild live stream. I had no idea any of this was going to happen. It was kind of like our last live stream. Towards the end, when anything that I had planned was going to happen, it actually didn't happen. It got better. Okay. Yeah, you want to know what's funny about this, Jared? So I have to archive the show. Okay. So with like the software, you get like 50 hours of like recorded archive stuff. The issue is because of the like what I'll do is like before the live stream, I'll go look to see how much time we have, and I was out of time. Okay. So I was getting ready to start and do the live stream at 8:15. I saw it around like 8:05. I was like out of time. Like a little message will pop up and say, "Well, you don't have this show archived." No big deal. Okay. So I went to go delete the messages, and Haley was like, "Hey, you got to push the live stream back. Tornado is in the area." So I banged my stuff up, went in the hall, and I forgot to like delete the extra stuff. So I think I could still go back and archive it. I think I have a way I can go do it, just not in StreamYard. So I got to go back and figure it out. But yeah. I will let you know something. This person would like to remain anonymous, but I did have someone reach out to me who is a very, very prominent YouTuber. Okay, and he's not in my niche. He doesn't do what I do at all. And he just said, "Hey, I wanted to reach out and tell you that I'm a fan," and that meant a lot to me. It really did. I don't have the biggest audience. I don't. You know, I just do what I feel like I do, and I feel like I'm great at it. And that was really cool. And obviously, it's cool when people like Van, who's accomplished a lot, and a lot of you tune in and all that stuff. And one day I'll have Van on here, and he'll share all the stories in Atlanta. There's a lot of wild things that happened after the SEC championship game. But yeah, we've had a lot of really, really, really cool people be a part of what we're doing. And the only way that I get to do all of this is because of you guys. Whether you super chat or whether you don't, the only way that I can get this to the level that I need to get this is you telling a friend about PHL, you watching all the videos that we put out. And I always say this: I'm never going to just put out a video that just stinks. Now I'll turn around a video pretty quickly if it's a big story, but sometimes it's just I try my best to make it good. So once again, this is what I want to do full time. I don't want to get another job or anything like that. And you guys make it happen. I appreciate it. Well, I gotta come get this $65 chicken parm. I don't know. I would think I'd want to get like a chicken. So like when I'm on the road, one of my favorite things to go get is like pizza, because like if you go out or anything and you go drinking or you're partying, you get drunk munchies at 2 a.m. It's always great to have some leftover food that you can just come back to, and you don't have to get a $50 DoorDash at 4 a.m. or whatever. So yeah, I love a good lamb pizza. Dono, I appreciate it, man. There you are with the GOAT LSU fan, Mr. Sanchez, right? Jackson, good to see you. Mike says he's going. Nola, got to make it happen. Where are these foods I saw? I don't know. I guess we got to go. Me, Van, and Mike, Jared, the whole crew, all 64 of us. Honestly, the chicken parm was $65 for like the big chicken parm. I think each and every one of us can take $1 to put together and get one of those huge ass chicken parmesans. I mean, that is an obscene amount of chicken parm. Like Peyton Manning would be like, damn, that's a lot of chicken parm. You got to know the commercial to get that. But Jared's ready to go tonight. Harahan. But here's the thing. So you have the authentic Italian wood oven, which is great. And you told me I think it's your wife, if I'm not mistaken, Nola Grizz, that has some Italian in her, or someone in your family. Okay. But like, how true of an Italian restaurant is it? You know, like, is the bread complimentary? Is there oil I can dip the bread in and it's soak? I don't know. Now, okay, so there you go. That's right. Your wife is half Italian, half Puerto Rican. That's right. I will not play the video of the best PHO halftime show of all time. We'll save that for a night. Well, it is late. PHO After Dark. We could play it, but we're not. The true sign of an Italian restaurant, though, is it cash only? I remember going in to New York, and I kid you not, I went to, I was getting ready to catch a bus back to DC, and there was this Italian place that was open at 6 in the morning. And I walked in and got a chicken parm at 6. It's 6 in the morning. Okay. I remember this clear as day. I had just left the NBA draft in Brooklyn, and my bus, I took like a mega bus, and I was busing back to DC to the headquarters, right? Not the NBA headquarters, but where I was working. And I just wanted something to eat. I saw a little deli open, walked in, and I looked at the menu. I was like, I could get a chicken parm at 6 in the morning. So I got it, and I went to pay for card, and I swear the most authentic Italian, cash only. There wasn't, oh, sir, I'm sorry, we only take cash. It was direct cash only. 2 words, straight to the point. And I paid with cash. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, but no, I mean, there's great Italian places that take card. The majority owner's great-grandfather is from Sicily, opened his own standing bar in New Orleans after immigrating. That is so interesting. Our chef was trained by his host family's grandmother. Wow, that is so crazy. So the chef, oh, that is so cool. Before I log off, Carter, in your opinion, is this the most important LSU opener since 2011 versus Oregon? Yes. Obviously, with both teams being top 10 teams, I think it's pretty locked in that LSU and Florida State are going to be in the top 10. So LSU, Oregon, both teams are in the top 5. But that game was in Dallas. I was at that game. It was great. Yeah, I agree. I would say it is the most important. Now, what I would also say, Brian, is the game, and Jared, I know this is tough for you because you went, but the Lambeau game was really big too, right? Like it just was, because that was year 2 Leonard Fournette, and we had played so poorly in the Wisconsin game the year before in the season opener, and there was so much buildup that we were going to be, a more well put together team, and the offense, and so on and so on and so on, and we just sucked. But there was so much going into that game because it was year 2 of the Fournette era. That was it was 2015, not 2016. It was 2015. So yeah, I mean, that game, as far as hype is concerned, was so freaking big. So yeah, Jerry, I know it was tough. Like, when you actually go back and look at that team, that 2015 team, okay, that was Leonard Fournette, Ethan Posick, right? Will Clapp, Jamal Adams on defense, Dante Jackson, Arden Key, so on and so on and so on. There were so many good players on that team. Darius Geis, DJ Chark. The list goes on and on and on. How loaded those, because the saddest thing about the Fournette era was it wasn't like those classes were just full of misses, right? Those players were good. I mean, they all lived up to their billing for the most part, and yeah, it was brutal to not see them win more. I mean, they still won a lot, but the weirdest thing about the Leonard Fournette era, the weirdest thing is we never had a 10-win season with Leonard Fournette on our team. And That is just crazy because he's one of the best football players to ever play at the university, right? Now we would have had a 10-win season that final year, but the McNeese game got canceled. So I mean that was essentially a 10-win season, but um, but yeah, it's frustrating. It's very 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 frustrating. Yeah, I mean it sucks. We went 9-3 in 2015, and we lost that game versus McNeese. So we in year 2 of the Fournette era, we should have had 10. But yeah, I mean, God. So yeah, 2016, the Wisconsin game happened. Oh, that's hard. That's really 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 hard to swallow. It ours to it. I mean, those rosters were so freaking good. That's I was confused. So 2016 McNeese game was 2015. I had the years flip flopped, which is even crazier because that 2016 team was like really, really freaking stacked. They were really stacked. Um, so yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. It just does not make any sense. Mm. Oh man, pressure missed all the craziness. Oh man, Matt Mauck was on here, man. That was crazy. Yeah, I mean, honestly, and I know this is revisionist history, and it's easy to just pile on people. When they're down, this has nothing to do with everything that transpired since then. But yeah, I mean, even if you go back, okay, let's take another really, really great LSU team. We were talking about Jamarcus Russell a little bit earlier. So the 05 LSU team with the 05. Yes, the 05 LSU team. Okay. We beat Miami in the and it's late. Let me just quadruple check because I butchered this last year by year. I was watching the Tennessee game from 05. Okay. And what was very interesting about, that game was, how badly so it was 06. Okay. I'm getting this confused now because I'm delirious. Like, no, it wasn't. Why am I? Oh, it's because I had these games sorted. Okay. Let's see. I see. All right. There we go. All right. Pull this up really quickly. All right. I did have this right. So I pulled this up. I had the game sorted by yards per play instead of by chronological order. So what's interesting is like you look at the schedule right here from the 05 year, and you had all these games where LSU was very fortunate to win those games. And a lot of the reason why they were in the spot that they were in was because of less. Like this Tennessee game was what was an absolute disaster, and we choked and we lost that game. But this Arkansas game, we were winning, basically I think 17-0 or 19-0 at halftime. And they almost beat us. I mean, they were driving, and we were able to hold them off to win that game 19-17. And we had all these just close victories that year. And some of these teams were good teams. So take that for what it's worth. But this team gets forgotten about because USC and Texas were so good that year. And it was just all about them. But this Georgia game, we missed so many opportunities early in that game, had so many early drops in that game. We've been very lucky, but we also left, just some meat on the bone. Damn, I miss Matt Mauck. Let me just put it this way. It was a man who claimed to be Matt Mauck. Yeah, I honestly, I think the Florida State season opener stung. It really, really, really stung, right? But that was, Brian Kelly's first game. That was his absolute first game coaching the team. Okay. The Wisconsin game in Lambeau hurt so bad. It hurt so, so, so bad. And I think we all have our Lambeau stories. Some of you were at the game. For me, I actually did a TV show. It was just a one-time thing. I did a TV show from Monroe. Like they brought me to the studio. I remember it was the anchor's name was Alex Anderson, KTPS Channel 3. And we did a show. I did a TV hit. And yeah, it was I honestly wanted to go home. Like I just wanted to go home. I just didn't know what to expect. Fan conduct. Oh, they gave you this? Because you were yelling so much? Oh, that's hilarious. Did they give this to you specifically? Or did everybody get this, Jared? Because if they gave this to you specifically, I kind of want to show this. Yeah, it's the thing, Brian. Like our roster, top to bottom, was definitely there. I do think those teams were way better than us that year, but we weren't far off. That team was so good. That 05 team was so good. And yeah, I think if you go back, like we had Justin Vincent on here, I think a year and a half ago, maybe. And he shared that. He was like, hey, 03 was great, but he said 05 and 06. That's why, I always, like Jay Russ had his flaws. It was only you that got this. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, yeah, I can pull it up. Nice. Delete this. Delete that. So Jared got this. He says he was the only one who got this. This is probably the lamest thing. Fan conduct violation. So which one of these violations did you commit? Why would they hand you this flag? If I were to guess, Jared, we got to know the story. So I guess Jared's got to come on now. You got a daggum yellow card. I love it. Mm. Taunting and fake smoking. This is actually a good question for Pegasus. If you get 2, does it turn into a red and you have to leave? Oh, that's crazy. You want to know what's interesting is who was it, Pegasus? Like one of the greatest soccer teams of all time played a preseason game this year in Lambeau. Like they flew. Could you imagine this team from England, and they stay in 5-star hotels in Paris and Milan, London, I mean everywhere, and they fly to freaking to Lambeau in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, essentially. I bet you that was such a culture shock. But it was packed, man. They sold the thing out. There was a rain delay. Who it was Man City. Who did they play? They played, it was a big team that they played. I can look it up real quick. They played Bayern. Oh my god. It's so crazy. And it was Erling Haaland and the whole crew. Man's a tough act to follow. But that is interesting. You brought that up, Pegasus. It's just such a random place to play a preseason game, but Lambeau is an iconic venue. City versus Bayern. God, it's just so cool. Like the German Bundesliga champion and the English Premier League champion played a preseason game in Wisconsin. That is so crazy. And then all those players from all around the world. It's so cool. All right, in the next few seconds, I'll answer as many questions as we possibly can. So, once again, happy Father's Day to all of you. Okay? Also, happy Father's Day to Jared. And happy Juneteenth to all of you. Okay? If you don't know the history of Juneteenth, go Google it. Might learn something. I appreciate it, Jared. Since I'm self-employed, I am taking the day off tomorrow for Juneteenth. Now, let's see, what else is, I think we pretty much touched on everything. Wait, what happened in the game? People were mad because they changed the fields to grass for them, but the NFL has to play on turf. Wait, what fields did they change to grass? In Lambeau, a grass field? Yeah, Juneteenth definitely should be a national holiday. I don't know why it isn't. We actually just need more national holidays anyway. It almost kicked you out for an unlit cigarette. But Brian, I do agree. I do think like we wouldn't have gotten the playoff because Georgia beat us. But I do think I do think a playoff would have been awesome that year with us and whoever the 14 would have been. Oh, it is a national holiday. It's just like for instance, like 4th of July, Christmas, you're automatically off. Everybody's off work, right? It's just like a thing. You're just off work. Now, not everybody's off work, but most people are off work on that day. I just think Juneteenth should be just the same way. But I also feel that way for a lot of national holidays. I won't get into that, but I just think more time off for everyone. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. You'll be missing me on Tuesday and Thursday because of vacation. Call me tomorrow. Let me know where you're going. Let's see. What does my week look like? We will do a live stream, obviously, on Tuesday night. That'll be the next time you'll see me. Okay, here's another one. Post Super Bowl Monday. Agreed. Now, we should get the entire month of June off. I'm down. But then again, I am indeed self-employed. Now, I'm going to share this with each and every one of you. I always take your messages, whether it come in on Instagram or email, Twitter, or whatever. But you guys notice I've not been shoving the Patreon out there as much these last couple of live streams because I feel like I share join the Patreon almost too much. But I kid you not, that is top 5 most favorite things I've done since I started this channel. And yes, the bonus film studies are great. You get bonus recruiting breakdowns. I did a deep one on Andre Evans. I will say, and I said I'm not working tomorrow. I might release a video because there could be a pretty nice story that comes out tomorrow about LSU. So we'll see. But truth be told, I wanted I want this to be clear. The Patreon is where it's at. It makes it a lot easier on me because you get access to everything. And I respond to DMs in the Patreon. I talked to Hal a little bit earlier tonight. That was great. And yeah, it's great. Now, I did also want to share we are doing Wednesday night live streams at 6 now. Unfortunately, on Wednesday, I won't be able to do the live stream at 6. I had an event for my mother, actually, that I will be attending. So, and that was booked for a while. So I'm debating on if we're going to start a little bit earlier. And also keep in mind, I am, and yes, so the Patreon is cool, but the Discord comes with the Patreon. So when you sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/LSU Football, you get a Joe Burrow card in the mail. I kind of just want to make that a permanent thing. Get a Joe Burrow card in the mail, and you get access to my private Discord where, I share some extra stuff and all that good stuff. And it goes a long way to help build this channel. Okay? It's almost midnight. It's close to midnight. It's crazy. We mentioned Sammy Sosa earlier and Michael Jackson now. How about that? But yeah, I think let's see what else. I don't have anything else. Power Hour LSU. Boom. Top super chatters of the evening: Van, Desmond, Jared, AP, and Doug, and Nola Grizz. And tonight, I wish I was doing some Nola Grizz chicken parm, but tonight we are doing what is it we're doing? Oh, my mother's salmon. And there's a brief history lesson on the importance of tomorrow. Happy birthday to you, Cole. Okay. And it did turn a national holiday. I just wish everybody was off work the same way. That was my main point. Tonight, we're doing salmon. Let's go.